gather, a family bound, our hearts together. We laugh, we cry, through thick and thin. In every challenge, we begin again. Truth Seekers 88, our home filled with love and light, sharing dreams in day and night. On the truth train we ride as one, helping each other, everyone. We talk of the truths of our ancient lands. Together we stand, hand in hand. In our disagreements, we find a way to grow, to learn each passing day. Truth Seekers 88, our home filled with love and light, sharing dreams in day and night. On the truth train we ride as one, helping each other, everyone. In every thought and every word, voices strong, our truths are heard. With open hearts, we stand as friends, a bond that never ends. Expressing thoughts, we find our peace. In unity, our spirits release. Helping others with all we know. In the light of truth we grow. Truth Seekers 88, our home filled with love and light, sharing dreams in day and night. On the truth train we ride as one, helping each other, everyone. So here's to Mike, the sheepdogs in us, our family. In seeking truth, we find our way, together stronger, every day.
Hey, 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 welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Thursday night, 4/17/2025. And boy, oh boy, you think we'd have thrown a rock across the river and broke a glass, right? We'll talk more about that in a few minutes, but I want to say hello to everybody. It was a beautiful, beautiful day here in our part of North Carolina. Outside, I have an upset stomach all day for whatever reason. I really had a great day today. I feel a lot better. My voice still wants to try to go out on me, but it's getting better as each day passes. Excuse me. And want to welcome the sheepdogs. So grateful for the sheepdogs and everybody jumping on board in the different chats for which we're broadcast on. Thank y'all so much. How are y'all doing tonight, Mr. and Mrs. Sheepdog?
I'm doing good, Mike. It was beautiful here today. Texas as well. It's hot. I've been watching. There's a tornado, I believe, in Iowa, right? Sheepdog.
Right.
Yeah, I'm watching it, but it was huge. I mean, and it didn't look natural. It was so huge. But there's also a rainbow right above it, which is
Right.
kind of cool.
Yep.
But yeah.
It is fun to
So
look at. I mean, it is fun to look at, but God bless everybody's in the past, right?
yes, yes. It looks like it's clearing up now. It don't look as
Good.
bad, but yeah. Glad to be here.
Ginger root tea. Okay, I got that, Liddy. Thank you, thank you. Um, Sheepdog, what's up, man?
I just want to thank the meteorologist, Mrs. Sheepdog. She's been chasing storms all day.
Oh, sweet.
Right.
We're gonna see you riding around in a Tesla truck pretty soon.
No Tesla truck.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not prepared to sit at a charging station for 4 hours.
Right. Oh, there's that F5. Oh, wait a minute. We're not done charging. Oh boy. Welcome to everybody jumping on board. I see Miss Tasha Johnson over on Facebook. She's always a staple with us, and an admin with us. And hope everything's going well for her. She had lost a son recently, and our prayers and thoughts and love are still with her. And I see a bunch of familiar names. Some of you I haven't talked to in a while, but some of you I talked to recently, right? And it's good to see everybody. Make sure you let us know where you're jumping on from. And we are about to, excuse me, we are about to embark on a journey because I got some good news. And I think that it'll start getting shared possibly as early as tomorrow. We'll see, but it's expected for Chief Pontiac and Young Elder to go live sometime tomorrow, and they may have the Empress in tow with them. A lot of good going on there. Um, uh, the 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 activity we discussed yesterday with the El Salvador situation. Okay, um, that's I want to start the show off tonight with that. I'm not going to give a lot of negative energy about it, but at 10:30, quarter till last night, somewhere about that time, I took a phone call from a viewer who asked me if I'd lost my mind. Literally asked me if I lost my mind. Not, hello, can I speak to you? Yada yada yada. Called me at 10:30. No big deal. It's happened before. Just want to make sure somebody didn't have an emergency. Is the reason why I answered the telephone. And the first words out of their mouth was have I lost my mind? And they commenced to blessing me out over the post that we posted yesterday, that we shared yesterday on the show. David Muir's post, I guess he's a little left leaning for some folks. This has not been about left versus right in years, okay? That's why I can't understand why people are still saying Democrats and Republicans. They're on the same team, folks. If you're not awake to that part of it, you really are in for a rude awakening come here shortly. All right. But this is basically a psyop. All right. But everybody's talking about it, and you can see, for one, this picture ain't even real. It's CGI. Okay. But if all these men are MS-13 gang members and they came across the border, do you not think the military will be involved? This is 1,500 people. That would be an invasion for real. All right. The military would have got involved. I mean, y'all can't keep falling for everything. I'm not talking about our regular viewers. I'm talking about the people who are got their head stuck up Trump's ass, thinking Trump's going to save everything. Well, let me tell you something. Trump's going to have his head stuck up our ass here shortly because he ain't saving shit. All right, so I'm going to go into the comments. He said, the first one, These people came here illegally. They gave up all their rights when they crossed the border illegally. Someone jumps on the bandwagon and says 100%. Another, and then they come back and comment to legacy media, which I'm not legacy media, you know. But I used to be Legacy Marketing Network. We didn't have a media company. We just marketed products online. And we did coaching. But he goes on to post about an article about a dude who actually had his due process and got sent to his home country. One guy, I guess this is the picture of one guy repeated about 1,500 times. Right? I mean, I don't get it. You know, the story wasn't about one guy. It was about the PSYOP as a whole. And yes, it was from somebody that appears to be, you know, a leftist. All right. But I don't look at people that way anymore. I don't look at people that way anymore. If we're looking at people that way, then we're passing judgment. Just like they said, every one of them people in this picture right here came across our border illegally. Well, why the hell are they in El Salvador? Why is Trump on camera saying, want you to build some more of those, even though he was joking and clowning around, calling it a concentration camp, right? And, you know, people want to go ahead and say that was a lie. Somebody made that up. No, I'm sorry. Whatever version of Trump that was there that day said it. All right. All right. So, so my reply to the two of them was, oh, really? You personally witnessed them illegally crossing the border? And then I went on to say, it is a PSYOP. Wake the heck up, right? Then another one jumps in there. These are gang members who came to our country with the sole purpose of destroying our nation. I guess they should have made better choices. Well, how about that? How about the choice they made when they got offered money by the United States government to come here?
Yeah.
So I also would like to see the due process that each and every one of them got before they got sent to a camp in El Salvador, right? From here. My reply was, wake up. The PSYOP has you fooled. And their reply was, apparently it has you fooled also, with an exclamation point. So I'm good with that. At least they heard, you know. This one here says, would you want one of them alone with your 12-year-old daughter? These are soulless criminals, and some of their crimes will make you puke. Well, I'd like to know the documentation she's seen for all the crimes that these people in these pictures committed. If I remember correctly, over the past 4 days, there hasn't been any posting of the actual documentation of them committing any crime. There's only been a narrative of them crossing the border illegally, right? And they're MS-13 because they got tattoos. Okay, so when they start rounding up U.S. citizens with tattoos on them because they might be undercover MS-13 gang members, let's see how it feels.
Yeah. All you need is a Chicago Bulls hat.
Or a crown. Even if you have a crown, that's one of the tattoos they're saying.
Yeah. Well, they need to go arrest Cody Rhodes. He's got a crown tattooed right on his neck. The wrestler.
See,
he's MS-13.
Yeah, that's crazy. That sounds crazy.
LeBron James would be gone.
Yeah, LeBron James will be gone. Absolutely. I mean, these people, I don't think that these are bad people. I think they're just really, really asleep. They think they're awake, but they're not. If they're still, I used to be a Trump supporter, and you know what? When Trump does right, I still support it. Just like when anybody else does right, I still support it. But you tell me what Trump has done right so far. Everybody keeps saying promises made, promises kept. He said day one this would happen, and it has not happened. His administration followed suit, along with Kash Patel, saying day one this would happen. This and that would happen. None of that shit has happened. Good people are getting thrown in the dirt. Getting thrown in the dirt while the elite, including Trump, are off playing games and running psyops on us. I mean, I don't understand it.
Well, maybe those the pictures of those guys were the people that Maxwell trafficked children to, and Epstein. Maybe that's what that is.
Right, and it will keep on until we push back. But
you just got to
there's
ask
a lot of people not pushing back still.
Yeah, you got to ask the question: why am I being shown this? Why is
exactly.
Why are we being shown this? Why are they deflecting from what they promised? Arrest, right? Justice. People didn't vote, like Mark Taylor said last night. He didn't vote for another psyop. 4 more years of a psyop. That somebody's going to have to come out and apologize, tell the truth, or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this lady said, listen to this. This lady said, these are psychotic monsters who have no conscience. They rape, torture, mutilate innocent women and children and enjoy it. Shame on you for defending them. Well,
wow. How would you know that if they didn't have a due process, a trial or anything?
Right, exactly. Well, not to mention that, we got litigated proof of politicians doing that, and we don't say those things about them. Nobody questions what's going on with them. They raped, they murdered,
right?
They trafficked. Yeah, absolutely, and not to mention some of them are cannibals. But who am I, right? We're too worried about a make-believe gang of MS-13 and trade agruda that came across the border.
I didn't hear nothing about that gang until the last couple months or years. All of a sudden, it just came out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, I mean, Trump said stuff in 2017 about MS-13, right? And 2018, he did. But I mean, this is just plain ridiculous. That's why it's so urgent that these people get their head out of their ass. Guys, this is a psyop. It's nothing more than a psyop. Do you think that good people in El Salvador are going to let this go on in their country? Hell no, they're not. They'll raise hell. Look what they did in Venezuela. Okay, and they made the protesters out to be the bad guys, right? As they always do, just like here, right? Yes, it's already happened. Exactly, Jenny.
Yeah.
See, Molly, have you heard any one of them say they have told people the devil tells me to kill if I don't, yada, yada, yada?
There's some people with mental health issues that have said that at the subways in New York.
This is what people's problem. People don't understand is ever since 2012, okay, they have used the words national security. Okay, it's a term that every time they brought the word national security into play, how they psyop you every time. Okay, that's how they psyop you every time. When they mention national security, that's how you get psyop. So, I wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. Okay, the next thing I'd like to bring to everybody's attention is, woohoo, man! I'm about to bring out the Trump train because America first, right? America first. But here we are. Here we are right here. here we are right here is Trump merchandise. We got America First, right? Guess where it was made in China? This $40 hat is now $80. Made in China.
Well,
Here's a
depends on the
video. Depends on what, sheepdog.
Breaking news. Do
I
not
think we're
fund the windows.
125% on the tariffs. It could go higher. So the MAGA hat that was 40 would probably be close to 100 bucks. Who knows?
Yeah.
Even the flag, all of it.
Homeowners living in North Carolina, zip codes.
So we got a comment from one of our viewers asking about the merchandise here at the inauguration, if it's actually made in America, because that's one of Donald Trump's big things, is to bring jobs back here. So I went and I looked around at a few things. In all fairness, that store is not like an official store, but still, a lot of the items in there were either made in Honduras or China. Although the chocolate bar, that was made in New Jersey, so there was something that was made in the United States. Let's go check another stand though, because that's just one store.
Made in Vietnam, signed by Donald Trump.
Do you know where this bobblehead is made at? It doesn't say on the bottom. You wouldn't know. Okay. As of right now, found nothing except for some chocolate that has been made in America. Hello. Good, how you doing? I'm still not finding any items really made in America. Like I said, these are not official products, but I'm just answering the question. People wanted to know if the merchandise is made in America, and so far, at least the unofficial merchandise is not.
Feed the hungry!
And just so everybody knows, that ain't the only one. Look, here's another one.
A lot of people are accusing Trump of not having any of his merchandise made
Where'd you
in
get
the
that shirt
United
at?
States of America. To disprove
Right.
that, I'm going to go to his own merchandise store in Trump Tower to show you how much is made in the USA.
Trump socks. Oh my God, what? Made in, not the USA. Huh, interesting. Made in China. Okay. Not all of Trump's merchandise is made in China. I mean, like this, for instance, this is made in, oh, nope, that's made in China. Oh, okay. You know what? Never mind. This would be made in, or not made of, okay. People's Republic of, what is, no, okay. Okay, so maybe all of it's made in China. Weird. Not everything's made in China. Like some of it's made in Bangladesh. That's not China. Trump 2024, Bangladesh. Okay.
A lot of people are accusing Trump of not.
So, you know, I want good people to keep falling prey to Trump is the man. He's saving it all. No, he's making money hand over fist. He's making money hand over fist and laughing at us that believe that this is still a Democrat and Republic thing, that think that it's America first. It ain't got it. He's there to do a job, okay? And we are fortunate that he was the interceder or interceptor, if you will, causing interference for we the people. I can agree to that. I can agree to that. It's obvious that that was the case, and sometimes still is. But right now, you're seeing nothing but psyops out of all of them. They're all playing into psyops. Okay, I will not hesitate to fire back when you come at me on any of my pages and try to tell me how brainwashed I am. or how I've sold out. That was in some of the comments. I've completely sold out, and I work for the devil. So, with that being said, know that, you know, when I post content, guys, it doesn't mean I necessarily agree with it all the time, but I do research. And it is absolutely imperative that everybody do their own research too. Not listen to a bunch of alternative media that told you without going out finding out for yourself, that told you they're all MS-13 gang members. I'm sorry. If that many of them came across the border, the military would have been involved, because that's an invasion. There's 1,500 men sitting in that room, in that one picture, even though it ain't even real. It's a freaking psyop. All right. So the Trumpster is, you know, he's not one of my favorite people. I think that he could have been, and he was for a long time, but it ain't the same Trump to begin with. You know, there's about 5 of them jokers running around. Which one? None of them are the real Trump. So everybody who is a regular, please don't think I'm coming at you, because I'm not. I'm not coming at anybody really. I'm just letting everybody know that right's right and wrong's wrong. Period. Point blank. We can't keep making excuses for the lack of justice and the lack of care for good people. Do you know how many articles came out today about Trump selling Western North Carolina people down the river, refusing the FEMA funds once again, which, you know, he has to. They don't have any money. Whatever money they have is all narrative.
And what happened to all the billions they gave to Samaritan Purse to help?
Absolutely. Yep.
So it's really not about Trump; it's about the people, and people got to
Yes, it's
understand
about the
that.
people.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So you stand with the people, not the politician, and not the party. All that shit's an illusion.
Yeah, Molly, that's right. Poof. It just went poof. Millions of dollars transferred on a computer screen, just poof, right? I agree with you. You know, there is no real money in the world right now, except for you and I. Are we going to continue to be owned and enslaved by these actors and actresses, and whatever and whoever's behind them? Or we're going to get on with the program in the local scene, ignore the federal government, that's not ours, it's the government, it's a foreign occupation, period, point blank, and it's illegal and unlawful. Okay? Stand with the people, just like Sheepdog just said. We stand with the people. There's a 78-year-old in Florida who we're trying to help. And I want to bring that up real quick before I pass the baton. And I got to go find me some Trump merchandise for China that wasn't made in China. You can't do it.
There was one in Bangladesh, he said.
Yeah, right. Honduras, Bangladesh, Vietnam, let me see. I want to say it was the Philippines is where they made all the polyester, a lot of the polyester that we have in our country. And that's probably, who knows? It's all low energy. It's all low energy stuff, and none of it was made here in America. But we got America. We got an America First president who just gave $1 billion or more to Israel. Oh, wait a minute.
True.
Israel won the presidency.
Yes, Netanyahu.
Prove me wrong. I'll wait.
Yeah, that's why the moths, like my wife said today, the moths don't even eat our clothes anymore because they're not made of.
Yeah, they won't. Yeah.
So would they eat Miss Sheepdog cotton?
Repeat that.
The moths, they eat cotton.
Oh, cotton, linen, natural.
Right.
Material. Yeah.
This right here, national security is the term. National security is the term. And it's how they psyop you every time. Okay? Anytime national security is involved, you can best. Yeah. Yes, Israel has a lot of sex trafficking with kids. You can best bet anytime the word national security is used by a politician, the media, local or federal level, you can best believe the psyop is coming if it hadn't already been set up, right? Another good post that I shared that was not mine is Community of the Awake. By calling me anti-vax, you mean I oppose injecting carcinogens made by criminal companies who aren't liable for energy or death? Yes, I do.
And
here's another thing that nobody's talking about, but we're talking about people make believe MS-13 gangs in the thousands, right?
Yeah, they're the ones that put the needles in our arms. You didn't see that?
Yeah, it must have been them.
The ones that released the vaccines and made billions of dollars off the vaccine. Yeah, those are the guys right there. That's them. That's your boogeyman.
Yeah.
Not saying they're good people.
Yeah.
Not saying they're bad, but that's not for me to judge. Like you said, you got due process. Fifth Amendment, which applies to everyone. But that's not big pharma getting loaded up, is it? Into a concentration camp? No. That's not Fauci, is it?
No.
Is Fauci in there?
No.
Damn.
No, I didn't see him.
Matt Fauci killed millions of people since the 80s. And he wasn't even the one arrested?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Bill Gates. Bill and Linda Gates. I didn't see them in there either. COVID predictive program. We shared this last night. X-Files TV show. In 2016. Shutting down immune systems through electricity and changing DNA through the mRNA, as well as moving to digital e-currency. This was in 2016 on the X-Files, folks. So, we have to please start helping some of these people. I don't know how to help them. Really, I don't, because you can talk to them until you're blue in the face. They believe what they believe, and that's okay. It's okay. Doesn't make them bad people. It just makes them misinformed. We've all been misinformed over the years. All right, our entire lives, as a matter of fact. We used to think that. We used to think a whole lot of things that we we learned along the way over the last 10 years to find out that they're not true. Yep. Yeah, so they're passing around. Donna said they're passing around the video of Trump, Obama, and Clinton at the Wailing Wall with their little black caps on, right? Forget what they're called.
Was that yarmulke? Is it?
Yes, a yarmulke. That's right. Yeah.
Well, I
Tasha,
seen a red one. Sorry.
Go ahead. You seen a red one?
Hey, I seen a red one going around that had MAGA on it.
Oh my.
And then another one that said mega. Tasha.
Tasha, yeah, Tasha, you're absolutely right. They won't get it until it's at their door, right? Yep. I agree, Tasha. I mean, I really don't know how to help them. We're just going to not waver, though. We're not going to waver. It's not something we've ever done here. Yes, we've learned and grown without shadow of a doubt. The Truth Seekers team, family has learned and grown. Every one of you, all of you in the chats, we've all learned and grown together. We don't all agree on everything, but these people that are still, Trumpsters and right versus left, Republican versus Democrat. I mean, those folks are really fast asleep or pretending one. Yes, absolutely, Tasha. I agree. Keep them in your prayers. Absolutely. Yeah, Steve reminded me that Bill Gates Foundation has been building Jesuit high schools. This is Sheepdog, and yeah, thank you for sharing those videos. They were definitely good pieces that weren't that long, quick to share. Show everybody that yeah, I think Trump has helped us in the past, especially Aboriginal, Indigenous. And we may see evidence of that shortly, amongst other things. But we absolutely don't have that Trump in front of us anymore. Whatever version that one was, right? You can forget that we got any of the real ones left, right? I just don't see it, Yep, the Zionists, absolutely, Steve. The Zionists, and they all answer to the Pope. So the real ID, we touched base on that again the other night. More and more questions are popping up on it because by the summer, I forget, Mrs. Sheepdog, on the real ID, by the summer it becomes effective, right? Which is already effective now, but
Yeah, it was started in April, but they're saying you have to have it by the end of the year.
all right. Yeah, anything they say we have to have, guess what? We don't have to have it. If you want to fly, you got to have one of them, and you may need to have one temporarily. Again, it's another attempt at your Sister KV trust, your straw man. I do need to upload that up to the .com. Thank you for that reminder. Saying that reminded me to meet your straw man. Telegram Live, I'll upload that to .com. Has been uploaded everywhere else. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Sheepdog. The reading was really good. The one after the UCC connection was really good as well. And people took a lot of good away from it, a lot of knowledge that they didn't catch if they read it, you know. And the truth be known, I've read a couple of those books more than once, and I get new knowledge out of it every single time. Something new I didn't catch the first time. You know, someone asked me to watch a Taj Tariq Bay video yesterday, and I talked to Mr. and Mrs. Sheepdog about it, and we found out that the video was actually originated in October of last year, and someone just uploaded it as a new video on our channel. I mean, not on our channel, but on their channel.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to be ready, folks. We don't have to be on the edge of our seat. There's peace and joy in knowing in the comfort of your own home, in your own heart, in your own mind, body, and soul. Okay, that you have provision. You will make it through this. It doesn't take a whole lot. Only action on the knowledge that you're passionate about, and so on. Okay, you just learn and you grow. Learn and you grow. Yeah, I've heard that too, Miss Joan, but who knows? Who knows anymore? Yeah, decentralized, Molly. That's exactly right. We want to get more decentralized, specifically in the bureaucracy, because it doesn't belong in the hands of politicians, right? That's been proven. Last 113 years. Okay. That wiped out an entire civilization to rewrite the history that we have now, and it's false too. So, you know, I come out of the blocks tonight and wanted to share that with you, and know that we are absolutely in a time that is pivotal. Not only should we be local, but we should stand only with the people. Okay. 78-year-old in Florida, we're trying to raise like a travel trailer or something for her temporarily on her land. For the home that she's in right now is it'll be condemned if they find out about it. And it's not livable. She's literally taking a bath in a wash tub that like you get in a hospital, one of those pink wash tubs, the square. She stands in it, takes a bath. She has nothing to be embarrassed about. We're here to help. They run the cost of living up so high that she couldn't maintain herself. Her husband died a couple years ago. Military benefits from her husband aren't being paid. I think Mr. and Mrs. Sheepdog, y'all are helping her with that, right?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I've talked to her about what she needs to get. Yes.
Okay. You know, so we're looking at getting her a temporary travel trailer until we can get her a brand new single wide trailer put into place, the one that's there now. Because I mean, you know, the living conditions are not good in the one she has that now. It's and we're finding that all over the country, folks. It ain't just her. It ain't, you know. We sent heaters back in the winter to a lady in Iowa that the house had no heat, the house was built in the 20s, and it was a family piece, and it needed a lot of work. It still does. We were able to secure a couple of heaters that were energy efficient, didn't draw as much as a normal heater would. Plugged in on electricity, called the what are those things called? Honey, what is those little heaters called we got?
What?
I forget what it, no, the ones we got in the you know what I'm talking about.
It's like a humidifier and a space heater in one.
Yeah. But
I can't remember what it's called.
I can't remember what it's called either. Well, I'm not remembering good tonight on the names of things, but we got her a couple of those, and she was able to perform this winter. You know, obviously, if she's not willing to give up the home, you know, we're going to pull together as a community and see what we can do to help her get that home fixed so it's inhabitable. Yeah, it's an infrared heater. Yes, had copper technology in it. Oh man, what was the name of that heater? Amanda.
She's not here.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know my wife will remember. Yeah. No, it's not the buddy heater. It's I think it starts with an E. But anyway, I mean, it's not important, guys. I'm holding up time. The sheepdogs are ready, and let's go ahead and pass the baton. But Eden Pure, there we go. Thank you, Miss Dorothy. Thank you, Miss Dorothy. Eden Pure, that's right. Okay. Very, very efficient and put out a lot of heat. Yes, Eden Pure, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Dorothy, Miss Kathy, and Miss Shelby, and Rusty. The those heaters are wonderful little heaters, and like my daughter said, we have one that's conditions the air like a dehumidifier or a humidifier, as well as it's a heater. And then the other one we just had, it's like a space heater, but it's very efficient because it has a copper technology in it. You know, and they learned, the guy who created them learned about the copper tubing in them. Yes, Eden Pure is the heater. That's right. Miss Sandra, thank you. They learned about the copper tubing in there to channel the energy that was created by the heater, and it would last longer. It would warm a larger area, and it, you know, we absolutely economical. Okay. One of them costs 200 some dollars. All right. And of course, they got a little warranty with them. I don't never pay a whole lot of attention to warranties, but again, made in America, wasn't made in China. It was made in America, created by an American. Okay, your nationality, folks. We didn't talk about that piece last night. Let me touch base on that because I did get several questions on that, even after getting a couple of phone calls again this morning on how brainwashed I am for defending the MS-13 gang members that all got sent to El Salvador. You know, that's justice, though. Old Pam Bondi didn't have to do it, right? Anyway, your nationality, folks, is basically basically you're a native to whatever state you were born in. Like I'm a native North Carolinian. And I can either be a Moorish American, depending on my heritage, or I could either be a Native American. Okay, but that's your nationality. Your real ID has that question on it, but it don't give you those options. So we showed you in a show not long ago how to fill out that form if you have to get one. Which they're saying everybody is. And of course, that's what they're going to try to make the digital ID out of too, right?
Yeah, you can get a passport, and there's that
Yeah,
link I shared, the Copper Moonshine. It tells you how to fill it out without marking a citizen.
yeah. Could you find that link again so we can send that to everybody?
Yes.
We got a few that didn't get it the last time. Thank you, Mrs. Sheepdog. I'm telling you, if me and Mr. Sheepdog didn't have Mr. Sheepdog to keep us organized, we'd both be beating our head against the wall. Or we just have a new topic every night, right? I don't know what happened to the last one.
Right.
John, you're funny. I thought you were on your way to El Salvador, right? Or El Salvador, right? Um, that's funny, John. Thank you. If it was real, I'd be right there with you. Why did we let so many people like that come across the border? But it's just not real. They're only applying the flying process, Miss Kathleen, right now. She says is the real ID just for flying. They're only applying the flying process right now because obviously there's going to be some issues around flying coming in June. That's the story. That's the scuttlebutt around the campfire, if you will. We'll see. You know how that goes, right?
Yeah, they said flying and government buildings. You can't go in any government buildings without it.
Right.
But that always starts off that way, right?
Right.
Then,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. It's basically if you go to the Patriot Act from 9/11, the one the Bush did after 9/11, and it's the Patriot Act 2.0 with the real ID, right? Molly, you're absolutely right. Never say sovereign citizen. That's an oxymoron. The sheepdog shared that with us. Citizen is not a free person, but sovereign is, right?
Right. Two different things.
That's
Yep,
like
two
saying
different
you're.
things.
It's like saying you're a free slave.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly.
Oh, really?
Right. And that's by
Well,
law, as a matter
well, at
of
least
fact.
you know you're on a plantation.
Yeah, exactly.
They call them free roaming slaves. You get to go shopping and stuff like that, and you got to get your ass back home, go to work.
Right. Get back to work, right? Yeah, the Victory Act too, Molly. I had forgotten about that one. I think Mr. Sheepdog brought that up too. The Victory Act, guys, absolutely. There's another keyword term that you can go look up.
Yeah, Joe Biden was trying to push the Patriot Act in the 90s, and they made him wait until after 9/11, and that's when everybody accepted it because it wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
That's all CIA.
Mrs. Sheepdog, my old buddy Steve, he said you are wonderful. Thank you for being here with us two clowns.
Oh, that's funny.
It's just a matter of time. Steve says, my old buddy Steve says, it's just a matter of time. The fake Pope Francis will have to die. Pope Francis is the last pope to introduce the Antichrist. This is being passed around the Jesuit circle right now, folks. Okay.
The Pope has the authority to pass any law in the United States.
Yep, sure does.
Absolutely.
Or did.
Yeah.
Lydia, I'm gonna get a clown nose just for you. Lydia.
I think Fauci will be the next Pope.
Yeah. Another reminder from Steve is that we no longer have habeas corpus. And it appears Trump is going right along with Obama, who eliminated habeas corpus. We said that last night on the show. This was like, there's some Obama following going on with Trump right now, right? Same thing. All right. Yeah, the Black Pope controls D.C. Absolutely. We knew that.
Yep. It's the black hand, right?
Yeah.
And the white glove.
Hand. And the white glove. Yep. That's known as the Jesuit Pope, right? That pretty much covers everything that I've got today, Sheepdog. If y'all are ready, y'all can go ahead and I'll pass the baton there, sir.
You have to add me to the screen. I don't have the option to add it.
Oh, that's right. Y'all, we had some technical difficulties getting started tonight.
That's why I
appreciate it. Yeah.
If you can make the screen big. Okay, we're going to go over the immigrant thing and why Mike's calling it a psyop instead of thinking that he's discrediting it as something that needs to happen. Of course it needs to happen. There shouldn't be any rapists or murderers on the streets of any but kind, even Americans, right? So let's not just focus. The psyop has you focusing or hating on a certain group and you don't know nothing about them. Not saying the MS-13 or gang members like that or good. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying it's not for me to judge. But they have been involved in satanic rituals. I've heard about it even here locally from a Hispanic lady at the store. She brought it up about because we have a lot of people around here that the politicians allowed the cartels to buy land. All you had to do was send them some money to what's that one guy that's running for senator now? That's Miss Sheepdog. Damn it, I can't think. It ain't Abbott. It's
I don't know. Where?
Here in Texas, not one of
the. Ken Paxton.
No. Paxton, yeah, he took a donation from an alleged cartel member here to buy a lot of land, and they put a lot of people on it, and it brought a lot of issues here and stuff like that. But she said that some of them people did satanic rituals, and she don't know me from anything or anything, the show or anything. It was just something she said, and I was like, wow, you're the first person that I've heard ever say that in like face to face, like, without it being somewhere online or whatever. But so it's real things are happening like that. That's not to discredit the crime and stuff that comes with that, but when they got you focusing on one thing instead of the, if I'm going to go for somebody, it's going to be the guy that's got a body count, like for Fauci. So we're going to go to the immigrants. This is the ruling class broke Ireland and then they pointed the finger at immigrants. So they're doing this not just here. They're doing it in Ireland. They're doing this in the UK and Australia, many other countries where they're bringing in. It's almost like design chaos, order out of chaos type situation. But instead of going after the people that profited off of murdering Americans, that's the point, really. It's the elephant in the room, the human traffickers, stuff like that. Save the children, right? All right, here we go. Let's see what Jimmy Dore here has to say about, and his guest, about how they point the finger at the immigrants and how that plays a part in what's going on here.
A portrait of a piss artist as a young man. Please welcome to the show, Ty Hickey. How are you doing, buddy?
Really good, and thank you so much for having me. Big fan. Really excited.
So I wanted to first ask you, because I covered this and I got a couple of DMs about it. So when Conor McGregor was at the White House, he said this.
I'm here to raise the issues the people of Ireland face, and it'll be music to the people of Ireland's ears, because never on the main stage has the issues the people of Ireland face been spoke. Our government has long since abandoned the voices of the people of Ireland, and it's high time that America is made aware of what is going on in Ireland. What is going on in Ireland is a travesty. Our government is the government of zero action with zero accountability. Our money is being spent on overseas issues that has nothing to do with the Irish people. The illegal immigration racket is running ravage on the country. There are rural towns in Ireland that have been overrun in one swoop, that have become a minority in one swoop. So issues need to be addressed. And the 40 million Irish Americans, as I said, need to hear this, because if not, there will be no place to come home and visit.
So what is he saying? Well, what's your response to what he said?
Look, Jimmy, I wouldn't be a big Conor McGregor guy. I would say that straight off the bat. But and I'm also wouldn't be in the business of ridiculing people on the right. I know I'm a big fan of your show, and I've heard people talking about that before. If people have grievances about what's going on in Ireland, I think they should definitely be listened to. But in my view, I suppose I'd be quite left-leaning. We have a ruling class problem. We don't have an immigration problem here in Ireland. We have a government who's proven to be completely inept, and a government which is really slow to consult people when immigrants are coming into certain areas of the country and in small towns. But to say that we're being overrun by immigrants, it's just the age-old argument that people on the right, I think, are very fond of and are fed, that the idea that, it's somehow the immigrants' fault that people are out of work and that services don't work in Ireland. The reason that services don't work in Ireland and people are out of work is because of the role of neoliberalism on this country, and I think capitalism generally, it's in its last legs in Ireland. And we're so tethered to American multinational interests. We put business ahead of everything in Ireland, which is why we're just disgracefully, as a ruling class and as an establishment, still sucking up to Zionists who are murdering children as we speak. Even though the Irish people, for instance, are completely with Palestine, the Irish government and the Irish media class are completely with the Zionists. And I think that's kind of, Conor's expressing frustration from working class people in Ireland for sure, but he's doing it in a way that's not backed up by the data.
So here's some data that I shared before. And so 1 million migrants have settled in Ireland in the past decade, and that 20% of Ireland's population is now foreign born, which is higher than the UK or the United States. And so there were some riots. And so what do you say about those? So what is there tension over immigration? And is it people scapegoating immigrants? So that's what it sounds like you're saying, that they're scapegoating immigrants for problems of the government, not actually providing jobs and taking care of people, right?
Look, you're a lefty like me, You know that this is an age-old trick, and I've just spent time with immigrants in Ireland literally just now, Palestinians who run a cafe in my city in Cork, and they bring so much to the fabric of society here. They work really hard. In Ireland, there's people who aren't from Ireland that probably don't work hard, but there's lots more Irish people that don't work hard. We don't have a problem, except I feel, as I say, the government's ineptitude to actually deal with taking our responsibility to take our fair share of refugees, as other countries in Europe have done so. This idea that we have open borders, it's a kind of a fantasy, I think, really. And a lot of it stems from people online. We've got a far right in Ireland that used to be a laughing stock a few years ago, and now they're getting funded from far right elements in the US, particularly in Irish America, and through the likes of Tommy Robinson and those types of people in Britain. And they're kind of stirring up and trying to kind of, add fuel to the fire of genuine grievances from working class communities in Ireland, because trade unions have never been so ineffective in Ireland. Young men particularly are just totally disaffected. They're out of work. And I'm from a working class background myself. I totally identify with them. But if we could just gather together and have some unity and look at the ruling class of this country, because that's where the problem has always been. We've always had a two-tier system in Ireland, the people who rule and then ordinary working class people. And I know one thing for sure, this completely inept, corrupt government is laughing to itself while groups of working class people are pointing the finger at immigrants and not the ruling class. It's a tale as old as time itself, as you know, Jimmy.
So I've made the case here that there has been an open border policy here in the United States under Joe Biden, for sure there was, right? And to the point where lefties, where I bring out a guy like Dennis Kucinich, who's famous for being gerrymandered out of his own seat in Congress as a Democrat because he stood up for the Palestinians and immigrants. And when he was on my show, he said we need to shut the border down and we have to have orderly immigration. And the case I've made is that it's a real good way to keep the left and the right from coming together to join together to oppose in an economic way in a class war against the oligarchy, to flood the country with immigrants. So now we're fighting amongst each other, right? So now the workers whose wages are being suppressed because immigrants can't organize, they can't join unions, and it's easy to exploit them. And so it's easy to keep the wages down. And so then instead of turning our ire at the ruling class who's allowing this to happen, we turn our ire at people. You know, I've always said if you're angry at someone lower on the economic ladder than you, pretty good chance you're being manipulated by someone higher on the economic ladder than you. And do you think that that's kind of what the play is by the ruling class in Ireland?
100%. And like, Jimmy, you've no idea how sneaky the ruling class is in Ireland, you know? So like, I know we'll obviously get on to Palestine, but Palestine is such a good example of it. So they make these kind of little gestures to try and keep the people happy. But actually behind the scenes, we've got a roaring trade with Israel. We allow US troops to stop over in Shannon Airport, which is a key component in the war machine, in US war machine for the last 25 plus years. You know, when it comes to real action, as Francesca Albanese has said, the Irish government are one of the worst, but they kind of play to the gallery a little bit to try and get people to think that they're actually effective. And it actually does work, because people in West Asia think that the Irish, as a kind of a unified unit of people and government and establishment, are very pro-Palestine, which they're not in real terms. And it's the same thing when it comes to, as you say, we've never had a left-leaning government in Ireland. We've always had these two kind of centre-right-ish parties. And when it comes to election time, we're really kind of stuck in the past. And people who will complain about these two ruling parties, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, they keep getting voted in. They keep making empty promises, and the poor get poorer. And I would say just one last thing on the immigration thing. We do have more people who weren't born in Ireland here now, but the same problems persist. They were there before there was many immigrants, and they're there now. And I just wonder why people will point the finger at immigrants when we didn't have those services. We still had large gaps between the haves and the have-nots in Ireland. That's always been the case in Ireland since the foundation of the state, unfortunately.
So, correct me if I'm wrong on this. So what I kind of hear you saying is that the people who are protesting, people who are considered on the right, who are protesting against immigration because they blame the problems on immigration, they have a real grievance, but it's just misdirected.
In my opinion, like, so for instance, they often come out with things that you'll get a big version of this in Britain as well, that, you know, there's this thing of like Muslim grooming gangs, but there's no data in Ireland to suggest that the people coming into the country are disproportionately dangerous than white native Irish people or people from Britain, because we have lots of people from Britain here too, or we have Polish here. But and those
Ukrainians
kind of bits
also, right?
Ukrainians, yeah, many Ukrainians. But those little bits of disinformation, I suppose, they get out there and they get stuck in people's minds. And then people who I would never vilify them, because especially young, I just think young lads are in a difficult situation in Ireland because the services aren't there. You know, there's a lot of addiction issues. Sadly, I've struggled with that stuff myself, so I have massive empathy. And I think it's useless to try and vilify people, or even at times to call them right or left. I mean, if you're like 18 or 19 and you're setting fire to a bus, you're probably just like in your mind, having a bit of a wild night out. I don't think you've really got into political ideology at that age. And I think it's a failing of the left as well. The left in Ireland should be a lot more unified and a lot more strong, and the trade union should be a lot stronger to give younger people the hope that leaning to the left, not blaming the immigrant and trying to fight for your rights and vote for your rights and to increase the living standard of people who are, poor or working class is the way to go, as opposed to vilifying foreigners. One other thing as well worth noting is that a lot of these patriots, they claim to be Irish Republicans. So that would be like Irish people who would be very passionate about breaking away from Britain and being independent. But Irish Republicanism, to me, and all the Irish Republicans that I love and read, is internationalist. So to have like an anti-immigrant kind of racist version of Irish Republicanism doesn't really make sense at all. Like, I think a lot of them need to kind of do a little bit more reading, if that doesn't sound too patronizing, which actually it does. So I take that back.
So would you say the general sentiment, because when I covered it, it seemed like the general sentiment of the Irish people was frustration with immigration. Now, would you say that's the majority, or would you say that the majority of Irish people identify with them and are welcoming?
Definitely the latter. Like, I think if you'd ask, say, Palestinians who are here at the moment, if you'd ask Ukrainians, certainly, the general message that you get from Ireland, and I'd be as critical of the country as probably anyone, but one thing you'd have to say about the Irish is, generally speaking, we're very welcoming people. We don't have that kind of, I have my issues with Britain, obviously, historically, but they would have a tradition in the right of racism because they've just had more ethnic minorities in the country. Really, we just don't have that history of racism. We are an oppressed people. We're colonized people. If you go to Belfast, you see murals of Cuba and South Africa and Palestine on the walls. It's internationalist. I think, generally speaking, some of these protests that you're talking about, I've seen coverage on social media. I mean, like, social media, I love it. Like, it's helped me a lot and stuff. But you know yourself, you can make a protest of 500 people look like it's a big thing and it's a kind of a national calling. There isn't a big feeling on the streets at all. I mean, there was one of those kind of far right patriot protests happened last week, and I think there was about 6 people and a dog at it, like, in our main street. You know what I mean? So they aren't always that small, and I'm not dismissing it as a thing or whatever, and I'm also not delegitimizing their grievances. I think fundamentally about the fact that Irish society is broken, but I'd be one for like trying to bring people together, I suppose, and like saying, look, the immigrant is not our problem. Like, it's the people who've always ruled this country and continue to deny you services, and who they're laughing at us, like they're laughing at us squabbling with each other, I think, and that's always been the case. I'm for revolution, like, mine would be Marxist and there might be something else, but let's talk about it instead of blaming someone coming in to Ireland who's been through hell. I mean, one of my good friends in Ireland, like, he's still being denied refugee status. He has no status at all here. And he's been here for like 2.5 years, and illegally, I suppose, because he's had to do this. He works, he provides, a great service to the Irish people. He works really hard. I mean, if that's the type of immigrant that people are complaining about, like, I mean, these people are adding to Ireland, and not just in services. Like, our elite athletes are from sometimes immigrant backgrounds. Our elite footballers, I think the best of Ireland is our welcoming nature, so I'd like to put that out there, that's the very best of Irish, I think.
So can you just briefly describe the problems that young people are experiencing, or people and workers in general? I know that the housing crisis in Ireland, like there is everywhere right now, and certainly in the United States, the millennial generation can't afford a house. And in Ireland, I know that housing went up 130% just in the last 10 or 12 years. How is that the kind of problems you're talking about? And is there any, and what are the other ones?
100%. So you might have noticed our leader, Micheál Martin, was with Donald Trump there recently, kind of genuflecting before him quite pathetically. And I think Donald Trump was asked about housing, and Micheál Martin just kind of laughed when Donald Trump said, look, it's a housing issue because everyone wants to live in Ireland. And that's just so far removed from ordinary people in Ireland who've been struggling with a housing crisis that's well into its second decade at this point. And like these successive governments have all promised that they would solve this issue, and there's no will to solve it because we're so corporatist in our thinking, you know. We've gone so far away from anything approaching a kind of a welfare state at all. So housing is probably the big one. That was the big issue in the last two elections. I would say you've also got health. We've got a completely broken health sector. People can't access services whatsoever. We've ended up with this kind of two-tier health system. Again, I would say rooted in the haves and the have-nots. The kind of elites in Ireland do very well, and they're really happy for the kind of the plebs to fight amongst themselves. And now we've got potential new enemies in immigrants, you know, so that's even handier again for them. And services, generally service, I would say addiction services are huge. People talk about Dublin being a dangerous city, and the right like to say it's dangerous because there's all these immigrants. It's a dangerous city because Dublin is awash with addiction issues, and people are desperate and they're on the streets. They can't access services, and elitist Dublin, which are happy to snort cocaine every week of their lives, look down their nose at people with, say, heroin addiction, and they're just left on the streets to die or to steal. It's so sad. So that's why Dublin is dangerous, in my opinion, because it's rife with homelessness and addiction issues from people who, at the end of the day, are human beings like you and me, and they've just been left to rot in a corporatist, capitalist state that's just... Our main drug of choice is America. We're just addicted to America, like an American business interest, and we will literally just give up everything that we value to make sure that we keep tethered to this US empire, which I think is, as you've detailed so well yourself, is just committing all manner of crimes all around the world. And I think we're losing our Irishness, but it's not because of immigrants. It's because we're becoming like a colony of America, I think.
So what would you like to see happen?
I'd like to see a revolution, man. I'd like to see a Marxist, socialist revolution. And I don't want to see it just in Ireland. I want to see the people of the world rise up and say 700 people have been killed in the last 2 or 3 days. And the West, not only, it'd be if it was just looking the other way, you could almost get your head around that, but it's actually aiding and abetting this level of violence and murder and mayhem. It's despicable. And our leader is going over to America and sucking up to a man who's just greenlit the resumption of that genocide. It's despicable. I can't find any words when I speak to my Palestinian friends anymore. I'm sure you're the same. You talk to Palestinians, what are you supposed to say to them? Like, there's a good pious, mild-mannered Palestinian friend of mine earlier, said a curse word, like said the F word in a text me for the first time. He just said, like, fuck this world, like, you know what I mean? I think that for me is just like, it sums up the situation at the moment. Like, these people are being annihilated, and everyone, even the people who are supposedly trying to help, it's mostly just posturing. I think we've tried to be peaceful for the last year and a half. It hasn't worked. And I think no revolution, as you know, happened without people feeling very uncomfortable. And I think that's where we're at. I'd like to see a global revolution. And I think we should gather together and look at the ruling class, the oligarchs, who have us all fighting amongst themselves in these kind of meaningless issues, when the real issue is there's a tiny amount of haves and there's all these have-nots. And if we gather together the power that we have together, we could change the world. No, that's my TED talk. Thanks for coming.
When you say Marxist, now a lot of people interpret that as communist and authoritarian and anti-freedom, right? And that's not what you mean, correct? What do you mean by you want to see a revolution, and what would that revolution look like? So I get, Neil. So what the problem in the West is that we have the called neoliberalism, and it's corporatism, and it's socialism for the wealthy and rugged individualism for everybody else, right? It's the exact opposite. And so you don't mean, when you say Marxist, you don't mean authoritarian.
I'm not talking the gulags of the Soviet Union. Right. I'm talking about, I'm sick of, okay, maybe I'll rephrase it to socialism. I'm sick of the idea that somebody proposing socialism, which would give services to people who have no services, that would look after the minorities, would look after the poor and the sick in our own society, that's an extremist, dirty word. I'm sick of it. I never hid it anyway, but I don't think anybody should hide the idea that they'd like to see a socialist revolution. And like when you speak about restrictions or authoritarianism, what could be more restricted? What could be more of an authoritarian state than any Western country or the US right now? If you speak up for people who are being mass murdered right now, you will have, in my case, the police calling to your door, the police following you around at protests, my TikTok cancelled. I've lost all work I can think of. I survive on a Patreon account. I haven't been able to get any paid work in Ireland since October 7th. I'm not a member of any extremist group. I'm not running around the streets with a gun. I'm not saying like Allah Akbar, fucking, you know, in my community centre. I don't pick up the kids like, you know, in a balaclava. I'm just advocating for people that are being mass murdered. And I've been completely cancelled. My voice is like, you can't hear me. You can't hear the people. Forget me. You can't hear Palestinians speaking up for themselves. That to me is fascism. That's authoritarianism. That's restriction. So I'm talking about the opposite of that. I wouldn't even want to cancel Zionists. You know, when people say, oh, this Zionist is coming to perform or whatever, I never share that stuff. I'm always like, let them speak. Let us all speak. Let the Zionist speak and say how he can defend bombing hospitals, refugee camps, mass murdering children. Let him speak and make his case, and let us speak who are pro-Palestinian or pro-humanity, I would say, anti-genocide. Let us all speak, and you can make up your own mind. I cancel no one.
So when that's, you know, that's admirable. That's exactly the feeling I have. That's my sentiment. Free speech absolutist. Everybody gets to speak. And if you're not for the speech that you hate, then you're not for free speech. So that's the, you know, you have to be for the speech of the people you like and the people you hate. So when I think of socialism, like I've self-described myself many times as a socialist, but what I mean by that, like I took a tour of Europe last year. We went to Sweden, we went to Copenhagen, we went to Oslo, we went to the Netherlands, and I really wasn't in a hurry to come back to the United States because they have figured out.
Why didn't you come to Ireland though? Why not come to Ireland?
I'm coming to Ireland in June. Yeah, I'll be there. I'm coming to Dublin, and I'm trying to set up a date in Belfast right now. So,
so I was just going to suggest that you got to see Belfast. Yeah, go on.
Okay, so it was wonderful. It's like, oh my God! I mean, there were no homeless people that I could see where I went, and everybody was visibly happier. They don't make work the center of their life. They all work hard, but they have a great work-life balance, and they have you know, everybody has health care. Again, like I said, there weren't homes. The streets were clean. People had services. I had to use the medical services when I was there. It cost me $18. So that's when I think of socialism, that's what I think of what Bernie Sanders described as democratic socialism, right? So you have democracy, you have free trade, you have capitalism, but you don't have, it's not the gulags, it's not authoritarianism. It's instead of the resources going to, the military industrial complex, it goes to, building infrastructure, giving people health care, providing jobs and things like that, and addiction services, things like that. Yeah. That's what I mean. Is that what you mean when you talk about socialism?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not talking about fundamental. I don't think there's really been a communist state anyway, really, Even when if I'm outed as a kind of a lefty in Irish media, the impossibly intelligent journalists of Ireland often say, well, look at communist Russia. I mean, that didn't work. You're kind of going like, okay, game, set, and match. Like I've got nothing else.
But they don't. But they don't point to Copenhagen.
No,
right? They don't go. Well, look at Denmark. It didn't. It works there. Perfect.
No, they don't talk. They don't talk about like the US going through, practical socialism, like in just after the war, and working very much. They don't talk the fact that we adopted COVID pretty much socialist patterns. Like if there's a crisis, socialism works really well, especially if there's a crisis for the elites, as you know. Like the bankers get socialism
That's right.
when they mess up the world economy. They get socialism. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about another way other than capitalism, because I don't know if you've seen what's going on in the world lately, but the dominant capitalist states have got us into a situation where there's endless wars. There's always money for war. Always money for war. No money for service. No, you can't help people out. They're cutting benefits for disabled people in Britain right now, but there's still loads of money for the war effort, the so-called war effort in Israel. And the capitalists are burning the planet to the ground. I mean, that's the big one. I can't even kind of get my head back into that zone at the moment because I'm so concerned for my Palestinian friends that I've got in Ireland and whatnot. But in the meantime, you know, the planet is burning as well, like, because capitalism just keeps on going. And we're the extremists for having the temerity to mention a bit of socialism. I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of kowtowing. Like, let's get the revolution going.
So I have to remind people, you know, that we have socialism in America. We have public schools. We have public fire departments. We have public roads. We have public police departments. We have Social Security. We have Medicare. And try to take Medicare away from people, they'll fight you. And so that's the kind of socialism. We have libraries, public colleges. That's the kind of socialism I'm talking about. When people immediately jump to communist Russia, to a centralized a handful of government officials who dictate what the economy is going to be, and that's not what I'm talking about. And I don't think that's what you're talking about. We're talking about okay. So I just want to make, because I know people who watch the show are going to get confused and they're going to immediately go to that, Soviet communist. We're 100% against that. That's not what we're about. We fight against that kind of authoritarian rule. We're talking about the kind of socialism that works for everybody. Socialism being Social Security, fire departments, police departments, roads, infrastructure, schools, universities. That's what we're talking about. And strong unions.
Societies that work, exactly. Unions, workers who have rights and are backed up, and people who have services and we're not asking for much. That's what I would say. Yeah. Like, this would be stuff that you would assume would be like pretty low bar stuff, but it's we're kind of painted, I feel, a little bit as extremists, whilst the people who advocate for this kind of version of this kind of late stage capitalism are burning the planet to the ground, mass murdering people, and just coming up with cash for the weapons industry.
And it's like, it's like what we're getting right now is the worst part of Soviet communism, because we have censorship. We are we have it, right? We have authoritarianism. We had mandated experimental medical treatments. We've already had that. We already have all our money going to wars that we don't want. Nobody wants it, right and the left in the United States do not want these wars. Nobody voted for this. We always vote. We thought we voted for the opposite with Donald Trump, and he's shutting down one war so we could start another with Iran, Yemen, and the slaughter of the Gazans. So, and
if we're so free, then why do you do this show? Why do I end up just doing stuff for Patreon if we're so free? Because all we're doing is just being critical of the prevailing system.
Come see us on tour in Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, Atlantic City, Levittown, New York, Co-host, New York, Providence.
All right, so there you go. But I'd be focusing on the immigrants versus the monkey in the room, elephant in the room. Y'all hear me?
Yes, and he was talking about socialists, right? Socialism. That's kind of like what Gaddafi was going to do, right? Kind of sounds like but something. I mean, he's just coming up with an idea, but something's got to change, definitely.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. It is. Yeah, see, this is so constitutional right here. Meanwhile, the United Nations is literally rolling out a journey pass, which will utilize. Go ahead, Sheepdog. I'm sorry.
You want to read it from the very top?
Okay.
That'd be badass.
All right, cool. Real ID is just your driver's license, silly. What is wrong with you? You will only need real ID to fly. Real ID will be used for voter ID. Meanwhile, the United Nations is literally rolling out a journey pass which will utilize full biometrics by way of scraping all physical boarding passes, and this will be rolled out to all airports across the world over the next 3 years. And mandatory compliance will be required if you want to fly. This will lead directly to the digital ID and the coming social credit system, like the one they utilize in communist China. Imagine that, right? Yeah, that is exactly where this leads. A technocratic NWO police state nightmare, hell on earth. It is absolutely not a coincidence that DHS is making it mandatory to have real ID to fly starting May 7th, because this journey pass is directly tied in and connected with the UNWEF plan. UN Agenda 2030 moves on a lightning pace. The vast majority of people are not ready for what is coming. All right. I think if it makes it to fruition, which it already has, really, we'll squash it like a bug. Mrs. Sheepdog gave us all an alternative to the real ID with the Moonshiners post about the what is it, Mrs. Sheepdog?
State passport.
Yeah, the state passport. There we go. The state issued ID passport. Okay. That's the alternative, and that's the one a lot of us are going with. We showed you how to fill it out on the show one night, according to the Moonshiners' directions, which seemed to be working really good. Several people had their state ID passport.
So they have boarding passes and check-in would be scrapped. And air travel shakeup, facial recognition, and a quote-unquote journey pass stored on passengers' phones are part of a UN-backed plans to digitize air transport. So airports are going digital.
They're already digital.
Yep.
They're just telling you about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of miss the researches.
Same thing with government buildings, right? You have to walk in there through the what's it called? The machine that scans you, all that. It's pretty much digital all in there too.
I was in military uniform and they had me stripped down.
Wow, that's crazy.
I was like, this is going to be a hell of a flight. They already want me to get naked.
Right.
It was weird, man. I'm like, holy shit. All right. This is how, all right. I'm going to use this as a training video right now. Everyone in this is just an actor in what I'm trying to show here. But here's the IRS fixing to walk in. And these are the American people that have woken up, including the business owner. And this is what you do when they walk in.
Everybody get out! Get out of your money! Get out of your money! Get out of your money!
A would-be robbery doesn't go quite as planned when a suspect storms into a nail salon demanding money, but no one reacts to his threats.
Where's my money?
Security video shows what happened on July 2nd.
So he walks out.
Because they didn't respond. They didn't give him the reaction he was expecting, so he didn't know what to do.
Yeah, here he is right here.
But the customers still refuse to react or give up their belongings. Defeated, the suspect appears stunned before turning around and walking out of the shop. Video shows the suspect pass by the woman whose phone was just stolen before.
And that's how you do it.
Yep. Show no fear.
Let me jump in right quick, Sheepdog. Let me give a big old shout out to Mickey. $50 donation to help our friend in Florida. Scott C, another $50 donation to help our friend in Florida. Cheating Election 2020, a $20 donation. Right on. C Boardwalk 20, $20 donation. Thank you so much. And supporter, let me see, Orville 37, $50 donation. And another $50 donation from our friend Stephanie for our friend in Florida, Steffi0223. Thank y'all so much. That is so huge. So huge. Thank you so much.
Y'all.
Any of our Florida peeps that want to shout out that can help us coordinate and possibly find this lady a temporary travel trailer that we can put on her property until we can get to the point where we can get her another single wide trailer to replace the one she's got, or what's left of the one she's got, so that her living conditions are greatly more improved. It's just her and a dog and a cat, or a couple cats as far as I know, that live there in the home. And wow, I'm grateful for everybody that has, jumped out tonight and started adding to the funds. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank y'all.
Yep, thank you. Oh, it's not be signed in. I gotta read. So what they do is they do little thing at a time, and then over time, before you know it, you're already in it. We're already in most of the stuff that they try to tell us to fear. So it's really nothing to fear. You just got to be made aware of what's taking place so that you can make the right decisions for what's best for you and your family. That's all. So Massachusetts just kidnapped 5 children from parents who refused to vaccinate their 9-month-old baby. So we still have the medical tyranny taking place. When the parents fled the state to protect their family, they were arrested. This is one of the darker stories of the year. Go over here and we see
that's terrible.
Because the pediatrician, they were homeschooling the kid, and 5 children. After a pediatrician reported them for not vaccinating their 9-month-old. And then that's why.
Yep. That's.
Massachusetts took custody of 5 children after doctor reported parents for not vaccinating baby. Report. Fitchburg, Massachusetts. LifeSite News. The Massachusetts Department of Children and Families, DCF, is under fire for taking custody of 5 children after a pediatrician reported their parents for allegedly refusing to vaccinate their 9-month-old baby due to their religious beliefs. The homeschooling parents, Isael Rivera and Ruth Encarnacion, were later arrested for familial kidnapping last month when they fled to Texas to escape the DCF. The department launched an investigation into the family in February, after their pediatrician filed a 51A child neglect report when the parents declined vaccination for their baby boy on religious grounds. Massachusetts allows religious exemptions for child vaccination. The doctor said if we didn't vaccinate, he'd have to report us, Rivera said, according to Boston Broadside. Encarnacion's attorney, Kevin Larson, said that there wasn't any basis for the neglect report. "I don't think a 51A should have been filed in the first place," he told Comfort reporter Janet Aldrich, who noted that the doctor's appointment said the child was completely healthy and the baby just needed the shots. The DCF left a notice on the family's door demanding a home visit, which the parents refused, Boston Broadside reported. What followed was a dramatic escalation, according to the newspaper. Fitchburg police, at the direction of Leominster DCF, allegedly surrounded their apartment, banging on doors and circling the property for up to 30 minutes, leading Encarnacion to hide in the closet with the 5 children. The police and DCF came back in greater numbers the next day, and the family decided to flee Massachusetts for Texas. Before the family was reported missing, the DCF filed a care and protection petition with the Fitchburg District Court for an emergency order to take custody of the children, which the judge granted. Neither Rivera, Encarnacion, nor Larson have seen that order, Aldrich said. Larson accused the DCF of having overstepped their bounds with the very drastic steps the agency took to get the children. Authorities hunted down the family after they left Massachusetts, arresting Rivera and Encarnacion in Whitney, Texas, on March 8 and charging them with 5 misdemeanor counts each of kidnapping a minor by a relative. They face up to 1 year in prison and a $1,000 fine per charge. Encarnacion's sister had claimed to police that Encarnacion has a domestic violence history with Rivera, according to the Boston Globe, and DCF allegedly questioned Isile's mental health. But the children were found safe and unharmed in Texas before being promptly taken into the custody of the DCF, the Globe said. The Fitchburg police had acknowledged in a press release that they did not issue an Amber Alert in the case because the children were not thought to be in imminent danger of serious bodily harm or death. The 4 oldest children have since been placed with Encarnacion's mother, and the youngest is with Encarnacion's sister. "This is a blatant violation of fundamental rights on multiple levels," constitutional law strategist Ron Bouchard told Boston Broadside. "By what authority has this family been apprehended and for what? Was there a warrant? What is familial kidnapping? A family has the right to travel with their children. What laws have they broken and what imminent danger exists to justify the drastic action of DCF and the Fitchburg Police Department traumatizing this family by tearing it apart," he said. Medical exams upon their return to Massachusetts confirmed all children were in good health, with no evidence of state-administered vaccinations against parental wishes during their brief time in custody, Boston Broadside related on X. The outlet added that despite no record of neglect or harm, DCF is mandating supervised visits for Encarnacion, who has reportedly been released on $7,500 bail after spending a month in jail without seeing her children. She lost her home during this disruptive series of events that has torpedoed her family, Broadside noted. Rivera, who is representing himself and is set to appear in court on April 15, remains incarcerated in Worcester County Jail. "I am a man under God and under God's grace alone," Rivera said at his arraignment last week. He added that he has been defamed and demonized and that the DCF harassed his family with fear and intimidation tactics and used unconstitutional weaponized government agencies against him, according to local media. The case is increasingly attracting national attention, with activists like Vander Steele highlighting the Massachusetts family's plight. Texas Republican congressional candidate Ava Zolari also commented, saying, "I'm beyond disgusted to watch our God-given freedoms, especially the right to say no to medical mandates, being ripped away by the greasy hands of government overreach." Related, baby who died 34 hours after vaccines had toxic level of aluminum in his blood, report. Baby dies after receiving 6 shots for 12 vaccines. Doctors say catching up kids on vaccines is common and dangerous. Ohio Children's Welfare Agency starts tracking transgender identity as early as age 5. Court sides with homeschoolers against cop and social worker who strip-searched children. UK social services are taking away record numbers of kids, leaving parents terrified. U.S. mom begs Trump to help free her children kidnapped by Norway's Child Protective Services.
And there you go.
Wow. That's crazy.
Need to talk about Easter. Easter! Do you realize that bunnies and eggs have more to do with the Starbucks logo than Jesus? The spring holiday we call Easter is actually an ancient Babylonian, then pagan, sex and fertility celebration. See, the goddess of sex and fertility, known as Lilith or Inanna or Ishtar, has been known by a bunch of different names over the millennia. Ostara, Eoster, Columbia, and even Atargatis. And Atargatis is the first mermaid. And to show that she's the goddess of sex, the original Starbucks logo showed her with her legs spread. Next level. What else do we see? She's got a spiked crown and a 5-pointed star. Spiked crown, 5-pointed star, which is also Venus. Like Venus, the Roman goddess of sex and fertility. You seen the theme here? Venus is also the morning star, just like Lucifer is the morning star. And Lucifer, or Venus, is personified as a male figure bearing a torch. Venus is also known as the Eastern Star, East Star. So we've come a long way going from the bunny rabbits to the East Star. The question is, what do they have to do with Jesus? Nothing. Jesus of Nazareth died on the Passover. This is well documented historically, and the devil couldn't change what happened that day. So all he could do is change the narrative.
Actually, they inverted the Statue of Liberty, right? Wasn't it originally was a female and they changed it to a male?
Yeah.
Sale. If you see that little orange in your gut are called fatigue, while parasites in your brain are called brain fog and memory loss. Parasites in your liver are called sluggish detoxification, and parasites in your joints are called inflammation and arthritis. Parasites in your skin are called eczema and acne, and parasites in your stomach are called bloating and weight gain. Parasites in your immune system are called chronic infections, and parasites in your digestive tract are called nutrient deficiencies. To detox from parasites, I recommend a holistic approach with all natural ingredients. This is soursop bitters. Now let me read to you what's in this. There's premium organic soursop leaves, native to Ghana, by the way, and not found in the United States. Black seed oil, sea moss, flaxseed, maca, moringa, cayenne pepper, and turmeric. Just 2 teaspoons of our soursop bitters before bed, and you'll wake up feeling like a whole new person.
That covers all of it, right?
Right.
All those, yep.
Yeah. That's it. Did we play this?
Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, and I want to do a quick update about a document that got passed by the United Nations this weekend called the Pact of the Future document. It's 2 parts, one on science and technology and one about the youth and future generations. It is quite egregious, and it was done by a procedure called the silence procedure, which makes it a pact. And if no one objected, it is automatically adopted and put into the record as being completely adopted. This is the World Health Organization's runaround, or end around. Since they were not able to get the World Health Organization treaty passed, they decided to take it to the General Assembly. And it is even more egregious than what the World Health Organization was wanting to get passed. Let me just read you something really quickly about what is inside of this pact that is now being accepted by 193 nations around the world and equally open-armed accepted by our current administration. Everyone, it says that this is the power structure of fully digital and maximized for the control of the masses. Everyone will be expected to have a biometric digital ID that marks them not just as citizens of an individual country, but as a global citizen. So anytime you hear global citizen or anytime you hear sustainability, think that this is an egregious thing that's happening at the level of the World Health Organization and the United Nations. Anyone that has a dissonant opinion will be labeled as misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation and memory hold. Perpetrators for unapproved information will be fact-checked and punished by the system, which will be operated and enforced by artificial intelligence. Punishments will include being locked out of one's bank account, being unable to make certain purchases, unable to get on an airplane, on a subway, drive on public roads. This is the future, according to the world's self-appointed overlords at the United Nations. These are unelected bureaucrats that are making decisions about our country, our sovereignty around the world. Nothing could be more important at this point in time than to get prepared. Have water, food, digital access, flashlights, a way to communicate with family and friends. Now is really the time to get involved and get prepared, because this is what's coming. Our Congress is sitting on its hands. There was a press conference on the 17th about this, and no further action has been taken. So it's up to us to mobilize and to go forward, particularly with your local sheriffs, to get your constitutional sheriffs to say, this isn't going to be allowed in my county. Thank you very much. Take action. We've been talking about the onset of one world order, one world government, one world religion, one world money for a long time. Well, it's no longer coming. It's here.
Yep.
It's no longer coming. It's here.
It is here.
It is here. Imagine that.
I found this at the grocery store, Mike. That's about as close as we got. Enquirer, Prince's Epstein files bombshell.
Wow.
Right.
I got more from this Enquirer than I got from the damn Epstein list that they released again.
Right.
Yeah. Luigi Mangione has sex tapes leaked. You know, Kennedy family war explodes. Dr. Phil, the end. It's like all the characters.
Huh?
New FBI investigation unseals texts, emails, and tapes exposing royals. Loudoun County Child Protective Services took a 1-month-old breastfeeding baby from her mother and Navy veteran father at gunpoint.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Stormed their home and seized their 1-month-old. He said, according to the father, there was no warrant, no due process, no criminal charge. And he said this happened not in communist China, nor in North Korea. It happened in the suburbs of Virginia, suburban Virginia. In America.
See, it's gotta stop.
No due process, no warrant. All constitutional rights violations, Fifth Amendment. Fourth. Recently. All you can do is warn them. Wake up. If they don't listen, you just move on so you can warn others.
That's right.
Yuppers.
Somebody else sent me this one too. A system that makes you pay to exist. compete to eat, and obey to survive is not a civilization. It's a prison with shopping privileges. You get to go shopping, like I said that earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
You can go to Walmart. They're going to check that receipt there too.
Yeah.
So right here's a list of who funds the CDC. And the list is long, from 3M, Adobe, Aflac, AstraZeneca, ATT, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Bayer, Bank of Commerce, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Now this is who funds CDC now. Biogen, Cargill, which is everybody gets their food from.
Cargill's mostly pork, yeah, but you do get other foods from there as well, other frozen foods.
Yeah, there's like $1 billion industry. They sell to every store.
They're headquartered in Canada, and they're across the border in several places. Maybe they should have went to El Salvador too.
Oh, that wasn't them? I thought that was Cargill. I thought it was Bill and Melinda Gates.
Imagine that.
Or Mark Zuckerberg. Or P. Diddy.
Right.
So it goes down. Charles Schwab Corp, of course. Century 21 is in on the act. This is all who funds the CDC. Clorox, Coca-Cola, Citibank, CNN, Time Warner, Costco, CBS, Data Processing Management, Dell, Delta Airlines, Diamazine Labs, Disney, ET Enterprises. So even damn ET donating. Eastern Mountain Sports, Evan Bright, ExxonMobil, Facebook, Fidelity, Ford, General Electric, General Mills, General Motors, Google, Government of Canada, Hampton Inn, Hilton Hotels, Home Depot, IMG, Infectious Disease Consultants, Inc., Janssen, Johnson & Johnson, JVC, Kaiser, Kohl's, Liberty Mutual, Maglon, Magellan, MailChimp, McDonald's, Merced, Microgenics, Microsoft, Motorola, NFL, of course, Nanotech, New York Society of Infectious Diseases, Nike, North American Vaccine Incorp., Novax, OnStar, Oxford University, PayPal, Pfizer, Procter & Gamble, Princeton, Quaker Oaks, Quest Diagnostics, Roche, Safeway, Siemens, Spirit, Sprint, Staples, Starbucks, State Farm, Target, T-Mobile, Toyota, Trojan Condoms, TBS, UPS, Verizon, Walmart, Walgreens, WebMD, Web Health Communications, Inc. All of these companies have played a role in the pandemic. I find some extremely alarming in that they appear to have benefited greatly from it over the course of the last year and a half. All of these corporations should be investigated for conflict of interest. Does the CDC have a board of non-affiliated citizens to audit their funding? Where is the oversight? Is it in an internal committee? That in of itself is a conflict of interest here. And this is, I got the link, the CDC found links for those who wish to seek more companies and labs that fund this crooked agency. CDC.
That's a lot.
Man, that's... I am raising this. Yeah, the MAGA hats are going to go up 400%.
The tariffs.
Well, it don't matter because BlackRock is the economy. That's who the trade war is really with. That's why Israel came in and acted like
they
didn't have to. We didn't have to pay tariffs to Israel anymore. Well, shit, we give you billions of dollars every year anyway, and you charged us tariffs. So more psyop with a real impact locally when it comes to us at the store going on our end, purchasing from.
Cray.
All right, I'm ready, Mike. You can go ahead and call them and tell them to come pick me up. I'm done.
All right. What, Krista, you got a good question. She's nothing can stop. She says, I say what nothing can stop what is coming, but what exactly is that? Things are getting worse instead of better, and the voters savior Trump is in the deep state's pocket. What is to be done? Stay positive and know that there is a group of people, okay, including you, that are doing that positive change, that journey within the shadow work, right? That not only is a huge piece of your own salvation, okay? It is also adding up in the collective with the Aboriginal Indigenous, which we're all pretty much Aboriginal Indigenous. We were born here, right? And but we have the true Indians, quote unquote, if you will, right? We've learned a lot about them, the ones we've seen on TV and the ones we've seen for show. They got pushed up into these reservations weren't the real Indians. There may be some of them on the reservations now, but we had Hollywood. We had the Hollywood version. Okay. With that being said, the Republic will stand. Make no never mind that it won't. Okay, but it's going to be very limited in any government or bureaucracy. We're all responsible for ourselves, and we're capable of far more than we know. And we're seeing that in areas like Western North Carolina. While it still has a ways to go, but if it wasn't for the people helping people, it would not be anywhere near what it is today. And there's still a lot of devastation up there. There's still areas that haven't been touched. There's still people living on the streets. There's still tent cities. There's still RV cities, right? So on and so forth. A lot of good has happened, but it's we got a ways to go. But it is us. It is the people that will shake this out and help one another. All right. That's why we got to understand when the dollar collapses, whenever that may be. I'm not saying it's now. Sure, looks like it could go anytime now. The rest of the world has absolutely refused to take the American dollar anymore. Okay. Although they're putting tariffs on all the countries, right? Whatever. It's narrative. It's all narrative. There will be a Nasara. There is no such thing as just Sara. We learned that in the last couple of months, didn't we? Okay. There will be a Nasara. It will be nothing like what's been regurgitated over and over again to everybody. Okay. And you need to be savvy when it happens because they're going to try to take it off. Okay. We're going through some shit now, with them trying to take, good people's homes and property and so on and so forth. And some of that is even a huge chunk of that is cyber. But these people will stop at nothing because they know they're going down. And Enoch 1, right? Enoch chapter 1, it says the ungodly will disappear. I place my faith in that. I don't pay attention to the end times and Revelation stories anymore because they're in the past. We're in the present. We're transitioning into the age of Aquarius. Is it going to happen in one full swoop? No. Is some of it going to be ugly? Yep. But it's going to happen. We're going to transition fully. And what comes out of it is up to us. So stay positive. Know that your heart chakra and your throat chakra and the crown chakra is a very important part of becoming energy, right? The revolution has already started, folks. We've been in a revolution for a while. It's not one like any other that we've ever witnessed, experienced, or been lied to about. It's all words, and it's all digital. So, welcome the coming change. Don't fear it. Know that we got this. We the people, we're badasses. We were created in the image of being badasses. In a good way, of course.
Yes.
Right? With that being said, Sheepdog, if you don't have any more, I'd tell her, I want to share with everybody that I love each and every one of you. I even love the people that said I was brainwashed. I was an idiot. I sold out. I love those people too. I'm not mad at them. I get they stuck with their truth, even if it's not, even if it's hanging them up in that glitch of time. I know that every good and just heart will prevail, without a shadow of a doubt. That's what's written on the Bible of my heart. I will not waver from that. I will not waver from that, and we don't have to agree on everything. But what we're all doing is we know that this is about the children, for they are the future of this world and this country. And yeah, exactly, Don. I hate the system. That's exactly right. I hate the system too. Fuck the system if you can't take a joke. Right. Excuse my language. If I call somebody off guard.
I think that's going viral actually in the
right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I love each and every one of you. All of us here at Truth Seekers, the Sheepdogs, myself, and the admins and the everyday warriors that are in the chats with us, in the trenches with us, and all those that want to be are finding their foundational truths, settling and becoming unwavering as well. So I love you all. I do. I love you all. Go ahead, Sheepdog.
That's expansion and contraction. Inhale, exhale.
Oh, yeah, looks like a jellyfish.
Force field, the apple.
It does.
Yeah, it's just the energies doing the figure eight.
Right, it sure is, isn't it?
The Taurus field, right?
Yeah. Inhale, exhale, everything. Positive, negative energy. See that? This is the visual. Red, blue, positive, negative.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's good stuff. I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to make my torso do that. We'll have a new dance to go viral tonight too.
Oh, you don't want to do the worm no more?
Hey man, it's been years since I've done the worm. Last time I did the worm, I got 3 stitches in the chin.
I remember doing that, the worm. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Break dancing.
Oh yeah.
That was fun.
I said I think doing the worm is definitely past my prime.
Right.
I can handle some shag dancing though. If y'all want to shag, we can do that. Of course, I had to modernize it.
Right.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Big Steve's reminding us. One of his favorite lines from Sheepdog is, Epstein didn't walk out the back door; he walked out the front door. Sheepdog, you done, buddy?
Yeah. All right, go ahead and call them people up and tell them I'm ready, Mike.
All right. I'm calling them.
Staying in silent here I come, man. I heard it's good food.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
They got to give me a chance to get there. I want to watch.
Oh my gosh.
I'll bring the shaving cream.
Shaving cream.
You know I love you, Sheepdog.
Oh yeah. But for real, call those people.
All right, I'm on it.
Plan.
Love you all. Hope you have a great night. We're gonna close this one out. I'm falling down on my duties, waiting for Sheepdog to do it, and I forgot Sheepdog is still stuck in tech repair land.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah, came here limping tonight.
That's all right. You came, right?
Yeah. On one. Well, we only have one flat, but we're getting there. We're getting everything set back up. That's probably why you see the different logo. I had to choose something real fast. But it's also a really nice logo. But go ahead, Mike.
Right on. Right on. It is a really nice logo. I like it. All right. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you Sunday, if not before. If we get any breaking news, we're gonna have a special guest on next Wednesday. Y'all will enjoy that. I'm pretty sure. And keep an eye out for Rod and Young Elders video and Rod and the Empress should they come on separately as well, because there's going to be a lot of good stuff there as well. Love you all. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Stand up now or fade down. They lock us down, steal our rights, sell us dreams to dim the fight. Tell us wait, just trust the plan, while they take more from our hands. But we ain't sleeping, we ain't blind, we see the games, we read the signs. No more silence, no more shame. Get mad, get loud, ignite the flame. Get mad, get loud, shake the ground, wake up the crowd. No retreat, no backing down. This is our fight. This is our sound. They push us back, say stay in line, spin their words, rewrite our minds. But the louder we get, the stronger we stand, and we ain't done till we take back this land. They cage the truth, we tear the bars, they dim the light, we burn like stars. They stack the deck, but we rewrite fate. This ain't submission, this is rage awake. This is our sound. Break free, break through, tear the walls. No more sleep, we take it all. No more challenge, no more doubt.